Alright Govs, welcome to another video. This is a traffic talk. My name's Tyron, also known as Odly Otter, and we're going to do a very quick video about Mohawks. As you can notice on the top of my head, I currently have a Mohawk, which is there. Might not be there next week when you see me, but that's what we're going to talk about. I want to talk about more along the lines of dressing the part. Alright, so the Mohawk on the top of my head is the reason that this topic has kind of come up. And let me give you a bit of background here. I went to work on Saturday, because I work on Saturday sometimes. And while I was there, my I'm not going to mention who, but certain individuals at work noticed the fact that I have a Mohawk, which I did for the long weekend that's just passed. So happy Easter to you guys if you're watching this on the Tuesday that it's released. We're doing the Easter weekend. I decided I'd do a Mohawk just for the fun of it. Anyway, so I have this Mohawk. I go into the canteen to have some coffee or something. Can't remember why I was in the canteen, but one of the managers there kind of came past and like looked at me strangely, and then kind of asked me if my razor ran out of battery. And he wasn't the only one. There were other people who mentioned it. One or two people who complimented me, which is good. If you like the Mohawk, you can give me a like button, tell me about it. But there are people who kind of looked at me strangely for it, and that kind of made me think, like, is this going to be an issue for me to keep my Mohawk? Am I going to have to cut it off? Am I going to have people at work telling me what I need to do with it? Which that leads me to the bigger question. And on a side note, even if they don't tell me to cut it off, I probably will, just out of practical reasons. To keep it at a certain length and stuff takes a lot of time. I'm a very practical person, so I will probably just chop it off and keep my hair as short as I normally do, just because it's easier to manage. And the Mohawk will come out every once in a while when I feel like it. So yeah, we're keeping these videos short, guys. So let me just jump right into it. Looking the part in a work situation or in a, let's just use the word business environment, is something that comes up a lot. Excuse my voice, every once in a while you're going to hear me make noises. It's because I am it's a little bit sick from the weekend. So looking the part in a business situation, what does it look like? Does it mean proper hairstyles? Does it mean no tattoos? If you guys don't know, I do have tattoos, and all my tattoos are quite visible. They're on my hands. You'll see them in the first couple minutes of me meeting you. If you don't know what these tattoos mean, you can always click on the thing that popped up right now, and that will explain my tattoos to you. Anyway, having tattoos, having funny hairstyles. My brother actually has stretched ears with those loops in them as well, and he's covered in some tattoos, which are quite cool in my opinion. But I've also had conversations with people who've said to me that because of tattoos, because of the way you dress, you can't get a job in their company. To extend this to excuse me, to extend this into other situations, I know places where their dress code just in general, meeting on a regular basis, involves somewhat formal clothing. Not necessarily a tie, but a collared shirt and smart pants. And my thinking, my question is, do we put too much emphasis on the way that we look? Is this necessary? Why is this such a problem? I don't know, coming from a slight business background here, if someone walks in and they look super scruffy, your immediate kind of impression of them is going to be somewhat doubtful. It's going to be a little bit skeptic of, can they do the work? Can they present well? What's going on here? Why do they look so scruffy and unkempt? But on the reverse side, so in the long conversation of this all, I was talking to someone the other day about this, and I said to them, I will probably hire a graphics designer who is covered in tattoos, has a bit of a rough around the edges look to them, I'd rather hire someone like that than someone who is in a formal suit, very well presented, very, very neat, because I can instantly tell by the guy with all the tattoos that there's a creative mind that's ticking there. We can't see that from a suits person. Which then takes me to another point in my conversation, and this is really excuse me, this is really what it comes down to. I recognize in the business situation that the way you dress is important, but I don't think that's okay. I don't think the way that you dress, whether you're going to church, whether you're going to visit friends or go to work, has to be something that is unique, that stands out. Simply because you are who you are regardless of the clothes that you're wearing. That's kind of my opinion on it. And I can go a lot more in depth here, but like I said, I'm going to keep these short. I'm willing to have a lot longer conversations, deeper conversations if you want down below. So my immediate conversation, let's take my graphic designer example. Who would you hire first? The guy who's dressed a bit scruffy or the guy who's dressed super neatly? That's going to come down to your own personal preference. But it shouldn't come down to your personal preference. It should come down to their level of skill. You should look at both people in a fair light, look at their work, look at the quality of their work, and then make a decision, rather than make a first impression of how they dressed the thing that counts the most. That's just my little rant about how to dress or what to look like. And on the other side of this, so there's a rebellious side in me that says, man, my throat. There's a rebellious side of me that says, shut up, Deven. Shut up. There's a part of me that says, wear what you want, dress the way you want, cut your hair the way that you want, have as many tattoos as you want, and be who you are, and kind of stick it to the man. It's like a really rebellious thing inside of me, like, who cares what they think? And there's probably something about that that's fair. We should be pushing the envelope on these things, because if you don't push it, it's never going to change. But on the other side of things, I do sometimes think it's necessary to play the part. If you are going in for an interview into a company where you know they dress a certain way, going in there and trying to push the envelope in the middle of your interview is not going to get you very far. If you're going into an interview or into a job, let's take TV situations where you could be a presenter. Oh, the sun is bright in my eyes. As a presenter, you might necessarily have to dress in the costumes and the clothes that they give you. If you're acting, they're going to give you clothing, and you can't say, no, this is not who I am. It's part of doing the job. Part of being a presenter is wearing the clothes that people give you to wear. So sometimes you need to kind of conform. So sometimes going to particular meetings, however regular they are, you might need to just say, okay, you know what, I'll wear the collared shirts and the formal clothes because I don't want what I'm wearing to be a distraction. And that's also very key in this whole thing. My whole perspective is dress in a way that is comfortable, but don't, and while you're not supposed to lose your own identity, I'm worried about how I phrase this, don't lose your own identity, but at the same time, don't be rebellious for the sake of being rebellious. That doesn't help anyone, and it just distracts people from the reason for you being there. Anyway, this is nice and short. We kept it at 12 minutes, which is kind of where I was aiming for. So thanks for coming. If you like this, click the Mohawk and you can subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in another video soon with less of this croaky voice. You can go now. Bye.